What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 90 of the RXP podcast. I'm Matt, your host for this evening. And this is, of course, the podcast where four working professionals come together to talk all about our love for movies, shows, and video games. I am joined by Alex.
Hello there, listeners.
Tiffany.
Hello, hello.
And Yasser.
I'm doing my part for democracy, Matt.
Yes, aren't we all? Like, I feel like Helldivers has, one, taken over my life, one, and two, like, it must have melted my brain because I just lost myself in that intro. I'm like, what part of it? Like, 90 episodes in, I've hosted so many of these, and I'm just like, wait, did I just introduce myself? I didn't even talk about RXP podcast. Anyway, we're here, guys. We're fighting democracy. We're getting rid of the automatons. We're getting rid of the bugs. We're not even talking about Helldivers 2 today, but it's amazing. Tiffany, you should check it out.
Is that a Tiffany game? I think our listeners know that it's not a Tiffany game.
Got him.
You're right.
It's not, but you can play it with the squad.
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that it does make my heart warm that you guys are like, you should really check it out and play with us, and not like, Tiffany's going to be a dumpster fire of a teammate. We don't want her anywhere near this game, which is what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be fun. I think it'd be really fun. I think, there's no fishing. There's no crafting unless you call the stratagems crafting, which I don't think we do. So, yeah, we just might not check those boxes, I guess. But you know what does check those boxes, Tiffany? Nintendo Switch. Like, if you're talking about just like pure per capita
Cozy
Tiffany games.
times.
Cozy time. Talk about fishing as a minigame or just fishing as a game. Nintendo Switch has got you. Like, they've got like 600 of them that release on the Nintendo eShop almost every day.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about Nintendo Switch 2. That's what we're going to be calling it. Like, if it's Nintendo Switch Pro or Super Nintendo Switch, which would be
Nintendo Switch, please.
Hilarious.
To Nintendo 2 Switch.
It could be like NES,
It's gonna
SNES,
be the
SNS.
With the
just
two
has
eyes.
Yeah, 2 eyes. Sweet.
They would do something stupid like that. Anyway, that would be such a Nintendo decision. We're going to be talking about Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe 2024, maybe 2025. Like, it's got to be one of those two. I'm not even going to talk about 2026 because it's got to be, fall 2024 or spring 2025? Is that what people are thinking?
I could even see fall 2025.
Really?
For the for them holidays.
Yeah, you're probably right. I would hope it wouldn't be any more like further out than 2025, but it could happen. Now, the four of us, right? Like, if you took us all on a spectrum, we basically have super fans who I think are day one adopters of the Nintendo Switch 2 or the Nintendo Switch. And then we've got people who are not early adopters for Nintendo, which I think, like, they might be Nintendo Switch, like 3 eyes until they get to that, that phase. Next generation.
Can we take a poll on who was an early adopter for the current Switch?
Sure.
Okay.
How are we going to do that?
So just like, which one of us bought it at launch?
Yes.
Okay.
Not
Me and you?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I guess so.
All right.
Me and Alex
like,
waited.
That's
Matt, did you pre-order it? Or did you like...
No, see, I did not.
So you showed up at a...
Yeah, I just walked out.
Okay. And you got
he
it.
wanted to like relive like
You-
the mid 2000s when like the Wii was hot, and like he was just like, I'm gonna roll up to the store if it's on the shelf, I'm gonna grab one.
Let's talk about it. I stood in line for the Wii for 13 hours.
What?
Dang!
I was in a Walmart,
13
hours?
in a Walmart's garden center for 13 hours with my friends. We had
That's insane.
Nintendo DSs.
He was
We were plugged up
oxygenated.
to a wall. Yeah, no, we had all the oxygen. We had the great outdoors of the Walmart garden center. We had our DSs. We were playing Mario Kart DS, and everybody. I was friends with a couple people that were in line, but there was at least 10 people that were playing Mario Kart DS in line with
crazy.
us. And like we played that for 13 hours.
Insane.
We got the Wii. Here's the thing though, I was, a poor kid. I didn't have like money to buy this. I was like, what, 12, 13, something like that. So my parents were like, we'll buy it for you, but you have to wait until Christmas. And so I had to wait almost 2 months.
No.
Almost 2 months to play it, but I did stand in line for 13
Wait a
hours.
minute.
Were your
So,
parents with you?
Yeah, were your parents with you?
My parents came like
Last
they're
second.
like, we're not staying in line, but we will come to the store when we're coming to pick you up, and we will pay.
They
for
left
it
you
and then
alone
take
for
you back.
13 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a few of us that were there.
Okay.
Like a few of us in our class. My friend Brad Smith, he ended up happening is my dad paid, and then my dad just like went home, and I went to Brad's house and I played
Sweet.
Wii Sports with him. Yeah, like it was awesome. And I was like, this is amazing. I can't wait. And then I did wait for 2 months. And
So wait, your dad took the console home with him, and then you just went to Brad's house.
Yeah, safekeeping. Yeah. Yeah, it was
Hilarious.
It was an experience, but it's one of those things. Like Nintendo has always been a soft spot in my heart. With that, I still actually have some Wii pajama bottoms that they gave to people in line, like the first like 10 people or something. I still have those because they were like, these are so big.
Can you
what
fit?
the heck?
Oh, they're
and now they fit perfectly.
Oh, okay.
It's the limited edition Nintendo merch, Matt. That is valuable now. You got to stop wearing them.
Well, I am what I
They
am.
got their stains.
That's right. That's right. Nacho cheese, whatever.
The sweat stains from when you were working out on your Wii Fit fitness board, right?
That's right.
That's right. I actually never got a Wii Fit. That seems like something that I would really enjoy, but no, just never do it. Like Yasser and I were talking about this while we were playing Helldivers, actually. And you guys know this from our time playing Sackboy. The amount of time that I stand while playing games, especially when it's getting serious.
Yeah.
But the problem with Helldivers, it's always serious. Like there's always something happening. So I just stand for like 40 minutes and then take a break when we're in the lobby. Like it is. So honestly, Wii Fit, I'd probably be all about it.
You don't even need it.
Don't even need it. Yeah. I'm playing the PlayStation Fit right now.
Yeah.
So going back to Nintendo, like Nintendo has always been a soft spot. If I had to rank our kind of most hype to least hype, I would put you and I, Tiffany, on the most hype. So that like checks out.
Well, who would be
in
on
my
top?
mind.
It'd be Matt.
Really?
I think so.
Really?
Dude.
I was going to say you.
God, okay, so here's the situation. I remember, listeners, we made goals at the beginning of the year for 2024. Go back and listen. I announced to the world, I am not allowed to buy the Switch until I finish 2 video games.
That's right.
2?
2, Mario Brothers Wonder and Fire
Okay.
Emblem Engage. I need to roll
Okay.
credits on these 2 games before I am even allowed to pre-order anything. Like
time.
Ooh.
you know what I mean? Like, and this is in addition to this being a fiscally responsible decision as an adult that I have to be sometimes, I am afraid of like abandoning, like the moment I even get the Switch 2, there is a potential I abandon the generation of the Switch. And
Even
so
if it's
I
backwards compatible?
see, okay, maybe not. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's debatable. If it's backwards compatible, maybe.
Yeah.
Like it also
here's
needs to
the
be
question.
cartridge compatible because like I have my Fire.
Right.
Both of my games are physical, so
Right.
it has to
Mhm.
be backwards compatible.
The question that we're going to answer today
Mhm.
is what will it take for you to pre-order or for you to buy the Nintendo Switch 2? And I am abandoning the Switch thing because I can't do that for like an hour.
Okay.
I appreciated the effort.
I prefer Super Switch.
I prefer
so
Super Switch
All
as
right,
with
well.
that
we'll say
moniker.
Super Switch.
All right. Okay. Super Switch it is. So for the Super Switch, one thing for me that I think is absolutely necessary is backwards compatibility. Like this is the thing. I think the cartridges, I don't know the tech side of it. I'm not even going to begin to pretend that I understand the tech side of it, but I don't see why not. I don't see why this can't be backwards compatible. And I feel like, in my mind, it would make most sense for them to be backwards compatible so people don't feel left behind, in my opinion. Or like so that they can make that move for people like you of like, well, I've got all these other cartridges. Like I've got Nintendo, I've got Super Switch at home, and it's just,
The Switch.
the vanilla Switch.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the thing is that if they're non-consumer, which sometimes they really are, they're gonna make it not backwards compatible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what they've done for almost every generation thus far, have they not?
Well,
Like,
it's the Game Boy
when have they ever-
Advance.
Sure,
Game Boy
yes,
Advance
that's a good
has
example.
been backwards
Yeah.
compatible, and the DS, one of the DSs what could play advanced games, but advanced could absolutely play Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Color could play Game Boy games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it
True.
makes sense. This would be the generation they do make it backwards compatible, because we've now melded their handheld and console spaces. Because via the console, I mean, obviously the Wii could play GameCube games, right? You could put those mini discs straight into the Wii, and that was straight backwards compatibility. But now that we've merged the SKUs and they're not making dedicated handhelds anymore, right? It's one, dual handheld console system. And so many people, right? It's sold, I think, as of this recording, I think they're at like 139 million units sold globally, that they know a lot of people have built their collection of games, whether it's digital or physical. And it would only make sense to keep those people like engaged, right, with the system, to not splinter it again, to be like, just kidding, you're going to have to rebuy everything because it's not backwards compatible. Like, I highly doubt that's going to be the case. Like, I think this is the de facto kind of Nintendo, even with their online network, right? Like, obviously Wii and Wii U had the Switch or the Nintendo online network, but it wasn't really till the Switch they started to add kind of more significance to it. And I think kind of this combination of the hardware and that online aspect is now like, let's go ahead. It's going to be like the other consoles, right? It's kind of like how Xbox likes to say, they lost the most important generation to lose, because a lot of people built their digital libraries like in the Xbox One, PS4 era. And so I think this is the same thing, where I don't think Nintendo's going to make the same mistake to lose all those customers that have spent a lot of money. Because like for me, I bought all my games digitally, because part of my idea, because it was a handheld or part handheld, was I wanted the flexibility of being able to play anywhere and not have to be like, oh, I forgot my cartridge, so I can't play a game. And so I hope those games move forward. Otherwise, then yes, it's become this stranded, wow, I have to keep the Switch because now I can only play these digital games on this one piece of hardware. And like that would suck, like for me at least, to be like, oh, okay, not to say I would get rid of it, but it would be very sad the day it dies and I can't like get those games off anyway, if it was possible.
Like, I feel very at point, like Nintendo can do whatever they want, right? Like, they are in the driver's seat. They can do whatever they want. They can be like as anti-consumer as they want to. But in my mind, I don't think the gimmick's going to change for Switch. Like, I think Super Switch is going to be the same gimmick. I think it's also like, it's going to have the Joy-Cons, it's going to have the detachable Joy-Cons, the screen, the whatever. I don't see that changing because I think it's working really well. And like last time they had a gimmick that really worked well. They went from Wii to Wii U, then it was muddy, and then they didn't understand, and then it didn't do well, and then boom, 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 the Switch is here. So I feel like since I don't anticipate the gimmick to change, I think it makes sense for it to be backwards compatible. I think what really sucks is when, they have those Nintendo Switch Online where they have N64 games, they have Game Boy games, they have SNES and NES. There are certain games on DS that are just staying in DS territory because that gimmick changed, and now there's no way to play those games, and that sucks. So I feel like they're learning from that, and I think that backwards compatibility, I would anticipate it would be a lock. And if it's not, I'm going to be kind of disappointed.
I feel like I agree with all of you. I think that's what most people are looking for at this point. I just am not holding my breath because Nintendo is Nintendo. They do like to do some anti-consumer stuff, as we know. But you guys made a lot of good arguments, and they have, in their handhold history, tried to make it as backwards compatible as possible in some of those super generations or slight advancements of generations. So if it does end up being that slight improvement, like spec bump or whatever we're thinking it is, then I think it's more likely to be the case. I am curious if it is going to be like a new gimmick, though. What do you guys think? Like, is there no chance that this is anything more than just a spec bump and we're happy with that?
I feel like that they would want to iterate because the the console space was always iterating. And so for it to not be an iterative model, like what's even the point, right? I don't like it feels like they're like what if it's a freaking double screened Switch and we finally get DS games back? You know?
It could be.
That'd be pretty
Like
sick.
a Switch sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't know. A sand switch. Like like I'm
without Switch.
Okay, fair enough. I think it would be cool for them to iterate because they've already come out with like the OLED Switch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that was technically like a spec bump. So
It was like a display enhancement, but no specs were bumped.
oh, no specs were bumped?
Mm-mm. Yeah, like it maybe, you know, the battery life, like maybe, but like, yeah, it was mostly just like the display.
Yeah, people have been talking about a
know.
Switch Pro forever, and that just never happened.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel like that's where this is going to go.
Yeah.
Like, I think they have something here that I don't know if they want to decrease kind of like people aren't asking for anything other than just, hey, I would like a powerful Switch that can play Xbox One games and not Xbox 360 games. Like they've been asking for that for years. I don't know. They're creative people. I'm not, you know, knocking that. Like it could be the Nintendo Flip and it is like a DS clone or something like that. But I don't know. I something tells me that this is going to be the time where they're just putting a 2 on something, and this is going to be the second iteration of this. I don't know.
What do you think, Alex?
I do think that.
I think if we're looking at the backwards compatibility aspect, like the minimum is going to be the format, right? Like it has to function the same as the Switch, or at least the Switch Lite. Because right, they kind of have those two models of one. There's like the Switch, like the Joy-Cons, right, can come off, but then obviously the Switch Lite model they can't, and so games probably have to adapt to it. But I think if we're moving for backwards compatibility, at minimum, it's gonna be this dual hybrid model, and I don't think they would do it because I feel like Nintendo isn't this risque in terms of developments. But I feel like the main innovation I feel that they would go for is quote unquote like an external like hardware combination. So right now, right, the dock itself doesn't really add much. At least with the OLED dock, they added an Ethernet port finally to the dock, right? Because the launch Switch dock doesn't even have an Ethernet port on it. But it was mostly to charge the device, right, with voltage pass through and then HDMI output to TV. But, you know, as we've seen in the PC space, and obviously a lot of these innovations, like if you look at the consoles, pretty much just take from PC advancements, but kind of like streamline them and package them in a cheaper way, right? Because obviously, you know, you look at the PC gaming space and you can get, you know, crazy builds doing crazy things, obviously upwards of like $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 plus dollars. And so mass market consumers aren't ever going to be able to afford something like that. But one thing in particular that PCs do for lesser powerful pieces of hardware is an external GPU, so external graphics card, where you have like your core unit, but then you have another, you know, graphics processing unit that you can then hook up to help basically give it additional processing power. And I feel like and what I would maybe like to see if they were willing to make the dock something like that, where the handheld functioned similarly as it does now, but then the dock gave it that extra power, it would give it more of a reason to be like, oh, you can play everything handheld, maybe at a lower spec, but we can get you a more like, I guess, legit console experience if you dock it, because it has additional power that doesn't have to make the unit itself any heavier or bulkier, right? So in order to preserve that idea. So I feel like either we're gonna go hopefully that route, or it might be, well, like Matt said, it's just maybe a little bit beefier, but almost the same thing, which would be very disappointing. But I feel like that's probably something that Nintendo would more likely lean towards.
So is that kind of like what you, because like we still haven't even talked about like the history of Alex and Yasser. How long did it take for you to get your Switch initially?
I mean, it was pretty easy for me because the year the Switch came out, Tiffany and I actually went to E3, and that was the first year that they opened up E3 to the public, so like regular people that weren't a part of the industry or journalists could go. And I was able to demo the Switch all like at Nintendo's booth, right? It was all themed Mario Odyssey, and I played Odyssey like on the Switch natively, like on the show floor, and that's what convinced me to get the Switch. So I got it.
Okay.
I got the launch Mario Odyssey version
Nice.
in, I think it was November that year is when Odyssey launched, and so that's what convinced me, is that I was able to get the hands on. I loved the way that Odyssey felt, and I was like, I need the launch edition, so I was able to buy that. And that's mostly because, right, I'm not a Zelda guy. You know, it's not necessarily my IP, and that was kind of the main game that the Switch launched with. And so realistically, it's that kind of gap of, oh, I was willing to wait the extra like half year because it was the Mario game that was able to bring me in. So I feel like that's going to be a similar line of, if there is a Mario game there at launch, that's probably the surefire thing to get me there. But if not, I think I could see myself waiting a similar like half year period until that Mario game makes it.
Gotcha.
Is it just mainline 3D Odyssey that would bring you there, or is it like Mario Kart, any other game?
I mean, now I feel like we're going way beyond. You know, I want Yasser to cover this thing, but I would say yes. If it's a Mario like crossover title, Mario Kart, Mario Party, that could get me there. Maybe Smash, you know.
Oh,
Even though I would like Sakurai to take a rest, but if that was somehow
Ultimate
came into
2.
existence.
Maybe like a
Everyone
remake.
is there again.
Ultimate remake. Yeah, for me it was pretty similar as far as like waiting for that IP to really drop. But for me, obviously, it took quite a bit longer. I don't know the exact year, but it was when I was in Seattle. So saying sometime like around 2021, probably.
Okay.
I was waiting for the big Pokemon game. And I feel like that just, they did not hit the first couple of times. They did release Pokemon games, don't get me wrong. But it was Pokemon like Go Pikachu or something. And then there was Sword and Shield. But both of those were just L's for me. So I eventually jumped on when they got the OLED Switch, because that was another little enticing reason to get the Switch, because there was some more display technology there that I think is always at least a big plus for me. And then also it was Brilliant Diamond, I think, that really finally got me to take the plunge, because I never played Diamond in the first place. And I thought this is the time. And so I got that and a bunch of other Mario games, but it took me considerably longer in comparison to the three of you, I think.
So you have the OLED. Like that was your first
I do
Switch.
have the OLED. That's right.
Okay.
My first Switch. I had considered a Lite quite a few times, because really I got my Switch to play handheld. That's how I usually play a lot of my Nintendo consoles, at least for the most part. And so to me, when I got the Switch, I knew I was going to be playing it handheld 90+% of the time. And so that's why I wanted the OLED, and that's why I kind of waited a bit.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. So, Yasser,
Yeah.
say it comes out late 2024, early 2025.
Yeah.
Same approach this time around, waiting for that mainline game?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I buy it without a Pokemon game that I want to play. And then on top of it, I think it's concerning that there are some rumors that they're going back to LCD for the original one. I think that would be a little bit of a head scratcher for me, just to go backwards in a way with the Switch 2. But I think overall I would just like assess the whole package and then look at what Pokemon game's coming out and then make my decision from there.
I do think that if they came out with the next mainline Pokemon game, I would be convinced a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I played the hell out of Sword and Shield, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. I actually love. Actually, if they come out with a second Legends game, I would be all in.
Mm-hmm.
I would. You guys would have to probably hold me accountable to my goal for the year, because I'd throw that out the window. I'd be like, here I come. Pokemon's Legends.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kripakon or something.
I did
don't
get
know.
Arceus when I first got the Switch too. I think they have been talking about a sequel of sorts to that, so we'll see.
I love that game.
Yeah, I going to Yasser's point about the OLED versus LCD. It's the one thing that I wish the PlayStation Portal was a little bit different, because, man, I've seen friends that have OLEDs and it's just different. Like, it just hits different. I don't have an OLED screen in my house, which also bothers me, but I don't know. It just does kind of cheapen the experience, especially for certain games where if they're super dark, it's just tough. But I do wonder, though, would it be better to have an LCD screen if that cuts down on price? Because we haven't even talked about the price point.
That's a very good point.
If, let's say, Arceus does happen, Tiffany, is there a price point that's just too much for you?
Over $300.
Okay,
That's too much?
so
Why-
$399
Oh,
is
God.
too much.
There's no
How
way
much was
I
the
feel like it's
Switch?
less than $300.
How much was the Switch?
$299, right? Ish.
Yeah, it's always been $299, but the OLED is $349.
Oh, the OLED's $349. Okay, fine. Oh God.
I feel like
Over 400.
it's going to be
then.
more than
I
that.
feel like over 400 would be too
Yeah.
much. I'm sorry. Audience, I am out of touch with how much this thing costs.
So you're saying $399
Well, I
are
mean,
cut
I
off?
feel like
Yeah, $399
We
is the
did
cutoff.
buy it
Okay.
7 years ago, and it hasn't changed price at all since. It hasn't gone up or down. So.
classic Nintendo.
Classic.
Oh, I wonder. That is an interesting little factoid. Because $300 back then, is that $400 now, or is it even more or less?
Like,
Podcasters note, we are not financial.
Yeah, we're
analysts.
yeah.
I don't think they
What
try
is
to
inflation?
I don't think they try to divert the price too far away from that original Switch price point. I would say there's no way they're releasing Switch 2 for more than $399. That would blow my mind, I think. Because it is a kid's game after all, right? Like, you're not expecting parents of like 12-year-old kids to be buying a $500 console.
That's true.
Yeah, like 500 would be too much. I think 399 is realistic though. Like, if we look at the PlayStation Portal, which is just remote play, and it's Sony, so it's a little bit different, but that's $200 now.
Okay.
Like it, so just remote play doesn't do anything except for just mirror what your PlayStation 5. So the entry to that is different. Like, it's a different market. It's always going to be a little bit like, it's not going to be kids probably. It's going to be more enthusiast people
It's
who
gonna be Matt.
It's like a dad thing, right? And me.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, those are the two people. So that's $200. I feel like, I don't know, with an LCD screen, I might be okay with that if it falls below the $399, because anything over $399, I don't know. Like, that would be a tough sell for me. Like, I probably would still get it because I'm a child, but like, I would still feel weird about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm probably the most extreme then, because I'm willing to go up to 600.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but you going up to 600 and what Nintendo would be actually willing to sell, I feel like are two different things, right?
Right, and this is mostly because I put it in the perspective of the the market that the
Steam
Switch
Deck.
exists in now.
Yeah.
Is completely different because it's
true.
created a new market essentially. And now, right, we have the ROG Ally, we have, as you mentioned, the Steam Deck. I think MSI is also coming out with their own like computing handheld. And so we're in this market where obviously those PC offshoot brands are creating, I guess, the upper echelon kind of, right, of these 500 to 600 to 700, and I think the MSI one's like $1,000. And so they're kind of filling in that maybe enthusiast level market of, hey, I do want something like the Switch, but I am willing to shell out for the screen, for the performance, right? Because these are things where you can play stuff like God of War Ragnarok on a Steam Deck. I mean, maybe it's not at 4K, but it is like at least 1080, probably running at least 60 frames per second. And it looks good, right? At least on its screen for what it can do. And so, I'm coming from that market where I kind of see, right, like hardware is you pay for what you get. And so as we mentioned, right, like there's the Switch only does so much because it hit that $299 price point, and it's like maintained that over the years. And so I do think if there is a slight performance, like respective performance bump over the Switch, it probably does fall into that $399 range, where that's like they don't want to step into the Steam Deck / other ROG Ally like arena, because that's when it's like, oh, here's a direct comparison. Do I want to pay $600 for a Switch or a Nintendo device, or $600 for a Steam device? Albeit, right, that's where the first party comes in to say, well, at least on Nintendo, I know I can never get a Nintendo game anywhere else.
Right.
So that's probably the killer app, as they say, to make the difference.
Yeah, that's why I think that last point that you made, I think is why Nintendo, and I think a lot of people think that those are just two completely different markets. You got like the PC market that wants mobile gaming, but then now you have the Switch. And yes, they're both similar technologies, but the people that are buying them are completely different, in my opinion. Where Nintendo does not care that Steam Deck is doing this thing, Ally is doing this thing. They don't care, I don't think. They just know that their target market and what they want, and that's what they're focused on. And I don't think they're going to care about having like these amazing specs so that the next Zelda game is going to be running 4K, 120 FPS. That's not going to happen.
Because
we can all
we know
dream.
even if it did, Pokemon would not run
Oh my gosh.
anyway.
Look at all these trees, all two of them.
I mean, talking about trees, if they had, I mean, it would never be a launch title, but if they had the next Animal Crossing game at launch,
Oh man.
forget about it. I would
Oh,
be,
man.
I would, don't even know what I would be. You wouldn't see me for the
I'd
rest.
go back into quarantine.
Yeah. Like,
I wouldn't see anybody.
yeah, exactly. I'd be like, Matt, you got them oranges?
Oh my god. I don't even know what that means, but I'm terrified.
No, because I have apples.
How do you like them apples?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that would be wild. That would be absolutely wild if that. But also, can I just say that I'd be kind of angry if they came out with a Mario Kart 9, when I'm like, aren't they still like coming out with new tracks right now?
I think they just
Like,
finished, right?
Yeah, all the DLCs
Oh, they
finished.
just
yeah.
finished. Maybe
Just
I can-
recently.
Timing is
Yeah.
now.
I guess maybe that is.
Exactly.
But like, what if
Yeah.
Mario Kart 9 is just all the DLC? Like,
Because I don't think the DLC encompassed every track, right?
Right.
It wasn't every track forever. So I don't
Mario
know. Like,
Kart
I feel like
Ultimate.
they're gonna do Mario Kart Ultimate. Yeah, it's gonna
It
be that
has to
same
be.
thing.
We won't get Smash Ultimate. We'll get
Mhm.
Mario Kart Ultimate, but that's perfectly fine.
I mean, that would be pretty dope
That would be awesome. Yeah.
with like real
I think-
online play.
Yeah, that would be nice. That's like, I'm not even gonna say that's a deal breaker for me, because I don't think they have it in them to like have good multiplayer. Like, we're still gonna have the new
That-
Animal Crossing that's gonna release with it, and we're still gonna be waiting at our
18
individual
minutes.
airports and come one at a time.
Mario Wonder was already like they're showing signs of getting the multiplayer
They are
in
sh-
there.
You're right. They are showing signs of life. But I don't know. It's not gonna be as seamless as everybody else, which I don't want that to bother me, because I don't play Nintendo games to be like, I play it to be in Nintendo worlds, not necessarily to like
He's
play
like,
with other people.
I don't
So-
care about other people. I'm here to enjoy Mario by myself. I don't need to enjoy
I
Mario.
mean,
with
Well-
anyone
listen,
else.
if you don't trample on my flowers, anyone's welcome at my island. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I'm from the other perspective. I think if they double down and really focus in on multiplayer, that could be a huge reason for me to actually buy the next Nintendo Switch or next
Oh.
Nintendo
On
console.
launch.
Yeah. If I could play with my friends wherever they are, that would make me want to play it more than any Nintendo console in the past like 10 years.
They're gonna.
So he's like,
Yeah.
he's asking for the impossible thing, a working
Yeah.
online feature set.
Like, it
Where
works
we-
for the trailers where like people are like playing Switch on rooftop bars and everything, but like back in the real world, Yasser, we
'Cause
give
remember,
what they give us, all right?
We still had to use friend codes to friend people on Switch.
Yes.
Like we're still in the era of friend codes. Like we can't just like look up an ID.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's like a parent safety, child safety
Oh,
feature.
come on.
You know, so you can't just like.
Because no children play Xbox or Sony. Yeah.
Okay,
You're right.
fine.
You're right. Like, this is like Nintendo propaganda that they're just shoving down our face so that we just like spill that story to everybody. It's like, well, it's about the children. Don't get mad at us.
It's always like when you make a new friend and they're like, "Oh, I play video games." Like, "Oh, what console do you have?" I was like, "I have a Switch." I was like, "Oh, hold on, let me tell you my 12-digit code so we can be friends."
You got pen and paper?
Oh, sorry, that was my Chipotle gift card I just gave you.
Oh man. All right, so let's talk about the killer apps. We've already talked about a bunch of games. For me, I think the realistic thing is one huge game. Maybe like a second, like more niche thing. I'm looking at Odyssey. I'm looking at Mario Kart. For me, Metro Prime 4, like where you at? Like it's probably not even gonna happen. Like it probably never will happen. It's basically Silk Song at this point. But one of those games, I think Animal Crossing, I don't know. I think it would be perfect. Like it's sold more than anything else, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like a launch title to me. I think it has to be Mario.
So,
right?
do you really think that it'd be like one big launch title? Like, don't think that they would
I think so.
do two? Why wouldn't they do two? Get the cozy gamers and then the
Why would they?
serious gamers.
Because
I think they're going to have more than one game, but like the games are not going to be like tentpole Nintendo
like
IPs.
look at the Switch, right? We had obviously Breath of the Wild, a seminal classic, right, at the time of its release. And what was the other game the Switch had?
Snipper clips.
Exactly.
1-2 Switch.
Excuse me?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
This is a kid's
1-2 Switch
game?
was later.
No, 1-2 Switch. Oh, wasn't 1-2 Switch at launch? I'm pretty sure that was at
No,
launch.
I don't think it was at
No,
launch.
it was totally at launch.
No, it was only Snipper Clips and Zelda.
No,
That was
hold on.
it.
I'm going to look it up right now, and it's going to say...
Snipper Clips is actually really fun, y'all.
I thought you
It's
guys
so
said nipper
fun.
clips. I was like, what is this
No.
game?
This is think about the children.
Okay.
With
friend
their friend
codes.
codes playing Nipper Clips.
1-2 Switch came out March 3rd, 2017. It literally, Alex, that was their launch title. It was 1-2
It was so bad I just didn't think about it.
that literally, that's like the one game that everyone was like yelling, why wasn't it included in the package? Like, no, you know
I
what I'm
remember
saying?
that. Mhm.
Yeah, so
How many ice cubes are in the Joy-Con? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
yeah, Snipper Clips. And you know what, you guys? I bought the Switch, and at launch, I only bought Snipper Clips.
What?
I didn't
Nice.
buy
Are
Legend of
wild.
Zelda until literally someone was like, Tiffany, you have to play this game. And I'm like, I don't play
Oh my
I don't play
gosh.
Zelda games. And like, Tiffany, this game is so good. And I'm like, you know what? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe doesn't come out for another 5 weeks. So I guess I need something to play other than Snipper Clips.
So you were doing nothing on your
Imagine
Switch?
buying a Switch for Snipper
No, I
Clips.
bought it for Snipper Clips, Yasser.
That was the
wild.
killer app.
I
That
spent
is wild.
$20 on Snipper Clips and $300 on a Nintendo Switch.
She's saying, so Snipper Clips 2, where you at? That's the next launch
Exactly.
title.
That's what she's looking for.
That's the tentpole that Nintendo is waiting for.
Yeah.
I think it's going to start with one huge game, and then maybe 3 months later, it's going to be like almost like on a quarter basis. They're going to start releasing more and more games. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be one. Maybe I wonder with Breath of the Wild releasing on Switch and Switch Pro, maybe, or whatever this is
Super
called.
Switch.
Super Switch and Nintendo Switch. I almost wonder if Mario Odyssey 2 will be available on both of them. And that's the thing where I'm wondering, is this just going to be like beefing up some of the stats to make it run better? Like, how do they approach that sort of thing? Because that's what they did with Wii U and Switch with Breath of the Wild. So I don't know.
So
I feel it.
if they launch the launch title on both consoles, what is everyone gonna do?
Mhm.
Like,
I'll
are you
play it
just
on
gonna?
Switch.
You'll play it on Switch.
Wait, is it Mario?
I think I'm gonna
It
say it's
depends on what
Mario.
it is, I guess.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
If
say
it's Mario, I'm getting the new one. I'm getting Super Switch.
why?
Yeah, I'm super switching
Wait,
it.
seriously?
I'm super switching it. Yeah. Like if it's Mario for
If it's
sure.
Mario.
Like if it's an
Only
IP I don't
Mario.
care about.
What if it's
But they already
Mario
did
Kart
Pikmin,
9 Deluxe?
so it's probably safe.
Wait, we're already getting a Mario Kart 9 Deluxe when there's no Mario
Sorry,
Kart 9?
I meant Ultimate. I meant Mario Kart 9 Ultimate.
Mario Kart 9 is for Nintendo Switch. Mario Kart 9 Deluxe
it's for
is on
Super
Switch.
Switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
then I definitely
Keep
have
up,
to
Alex.
get the Deluxe.
Okay, if it's Mario is the launch title, I'm literally just gonna invite myself over to either my parents' house or to Matt's house, and I'm gonna watch you play for an hour, and then I'm gonna leave. I won't leave my parents' house.
And then that's
but,
it.
I mean,
You're not going to buy it or anything?
I don't think I'm gonna buy it on launch if it's just Mario. You both just told me you both are getting it, so I can just like watch you play it for a little bit to help me decide if it's even worth getting, you know?
She's like, I need a demo. I need to taste the goods.
Yeah,
Taste the
exactly.
goods.
I think it's going to...
Excuse me, feel the goods. Feel the goods.
Feel the
Feel
goods.
the ice cubes.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. I think that Mario will be the hot ticket item. They will have the gimmick game, and whether or not they include it or not, that's going to be the thing that's going to be like, well, I might as well just get that because I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 Switch.
No, WarioWare.
For Switch,
they should have
Super
just
Switch.
made a WarioWare.
Oh, WarioWare would be perfect. Yeah. Or I could also see them saying, hey, Odyssey 2, only going to be Super Switch. Metro Prime 4, though, you can have on both. And to that, I'd be like, well, fair, I guess. And that would make me sad because I want it on next gen, but I'll take it.
Actually, was that like the first time they did that? Like having the Wii U and the Switch? Because when I think back, like, I mean, I guess Wii and Wii U is different.
Well, Twilight Princess was on
GameCube.
Wii and GameCube.
Wii and
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I guess they are trying to be accessible. How nice.
Yeah.
Or they're
Sure,
just
that's
trying
what
to sell
it's
to their
for.
current player base.
Yeah.
We're like, we've got millions of people that have a Switch. We might as well milk them for all they're worth. I don't know. I think Odyssey 2 has got to be the ticket. If it's something, honestly, as long as it's something I'm interested in, an IP I'm interested in, I probably will buy the Super Switch on launch. Like, if this is a new Donkey Kong game, I would be for it. If this is a Metro Prime game, like I said, we'd be for it. Mario Kart would be for it. Like, I would
Alex
be
is
cool with any of those
Bowing
things.
out at Donkey Kong. Alex, you don't like Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong is old.
What if it's Super Monkey
Wow.
Ball on Switch? Super Switch.
No, that's not something I care about.
You know, it is interesting where obviously I think Nintendo first party will have the one tentpole, but it will be another publisher that's going to make up the gap, I think. Like, I think Nintendo's plan is we can afford to get one major title out for launch, but we're going to partner with someone to make sure that they can get something as a launch title. And personally,
Square
I would
Enix.
hope it's Square Enix,
Yep.
and I hope it's Dragon Quest III Remake because
Oh,
they
okay.
showed it literally. I think I saw a counter somewhere. It's been over 1,000 days now since they announced it, and I'm like, it's time for that remake to come out because it was gonna release on Switch. So I'm like, perfect Switch/Super Switch release. Like, give me, you know, the normal version, maybe a slightly up-res version, or maybe it's the exact same thing, but here's a quote-unquote whatever version for something. I don't know.
Guys,
But that's what I want.
what if it's Silk Song?
We might get just Hollow Knight for Super Switch. The long anticipated game. And it's just
Oh man,
Hollow
could
Knight.
you imagine? What if it was Hades 2?
Very cool.
That could work perfectly there. That'd be perfect. Hades is a perfect Switch game.
I wonder if it would
In my
take that
opinion.
long for 2 to come out though. I don't know where it's at.
It's right around the
now.
corner, I think.
Is it
Like, for
but
early
what are they gonna?
access.
Yeah, for early access.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
man, if that was their one of their launch titles.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think that for them to sell copies and move copies, it has to be one of the big IPs. And to me, I don't think Zelda's going to happen. Zelda's way too soon now. So I feel like it has to be Mario. So I'm excited. I think it'll be great. And that Odyssey team has not done anything since Super Mario Odyssey. Like, They're just chilling, which I
They're
know they're
cooking.
not chilling. They're like working on Super Mario Odyssey 2.
They are cooking.
Yeah. So out of all these things, I feel like I'm pretty definite on getting it, unless it's like a super high price point. Maybe it's just like a lot of weird choices. You know, no backwards compatibility, not super consumer friendly. If I'm feeling like about their announcement, I might not get it. But otherwise, I probably will get it, as long as they have something to play that I really want to, and it's a product that like gets me hype, which I think it's going to be super easy, like the rest of everybody else who has a Nintendo Switch. I feel I still don't quite understand who is more likely to get it with me, because Alex is saying he's like going to buy it as long as it's under $600, and Tiffany's like, I don't know if I can
need
play
Mario.
these 2 games in time.
And launch, it has to be Mario. Otherwise, I'll be waiting, till
The Mario
whenever
version
Mario-
I
comes
feel like that's a
out.
pretty safe
I-
bet, though. Yeah, that it's a Mario game.
Well, no, I know Mario. Oh, that it is a Mario game.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a pretty-
hopefully.
fairly
What if
safe
it's
bet.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder 2?
It's too early, right, for that?
Way too soon.
Is
Just
it?
released it.
Wonder was just last year, right?
Yeah.
End of last year.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
saying, what if it's a sequel?
Last
What if
December.
it's a redux of Mario Brothers Wonder?
Another like 2D.
Yeah.
No, I need a 3D
I think it's gonna be 3D.
Mario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Matt, are you going to pre-order this Super Switch?
I probably will. Yeah.
Like if you're buying it, you're gonna
Um,
pre-order it.
Yes.
Yeah, like
yeah.
after the announcement.
Yeah. Not messing around anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not
You're
like,
not.
I'm not going.
You're not going to wait 12 hours in a line. You're like, we're
Yeah,
adults
I'm
now.
just doing it. You know.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Ship
have to
my
do that for
house.
the Switch?
I'll take it to black.
Oh,
No.
yeah. What was your story, Matt? What's your Switch story?
No, I literally like there was tons of them where I lived.
What?
And so, yeah, I just literally was like, I missed out on it. Kind of like missed out on the zeitgeist.
Was it the
And
Friday?
it was like, well,
Wait, okay. Tell me what day you got it.
I don't remember exactly what day. It was after the day. Like it was within that week, but I just like went in and they got like a shipment. And
You were in
it was just, like, a
school
local
at that
Walmart.
point, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Probably
my
had a-
gosh.
yeah.
a exam coming up or something.
I literally got a
Yeah.
phone call at okay, wait. I tried to I couldn't pre-order anywhere. It was I was like, I'm probably not getting anything. Like, this ain't it. I'm not going overnight somewhere. Like, I'm just going to go to bed. I get a phone call at like 7:30 in the morning. Maybe, yeah, or 6:30, 7:30. Roughly an hour before Target opens, and I essentially get like a message, or maybe someone texts me. I don't know. I woke up, I have a text or a phone call, and someone's like, I'm at Target. They're supposed to have 12. There's literally like 6 of us here. Like, you should come. And I was like, are you serious? And my friend's like, I've been at Target since 2 a.m. By the way, this is my friend who's doing it for her boyfriend who had to go to work and couldn't go in. So I'm like, you got to Target at 2 a.m. to wait for this? And she's like, yeah, come. And I was like, okay, I guess. And so I literally get dressed, speed to Target. And as I'm like driving in, I see that they've formed a line outside. And I see like more than 6 people, because I was like, oh my God, they only have 12 or whatever the number is, less than 20. And then I park and I like run up there and I get in line. And they were like, maybe 20 minutes to opening or something, less than that. And so I get in. I am the last person to get
Oh my
the
God.
colored Joy-Cons.
Oh.
There was like 2 more. There was a few more of the
gray,
black
was it?
Joy. Yeah, the gray.
Yeah.
The gray.
Yeah.
But literally a Target worker came out and he was like counting us up, and literally a mom and a young child was walking up, and the guy had to be like, sorry, they're all accounted for. Like, these people in line.
Dang.
Like, the kid, they had to leave, and we were all adults for like,
they gotta learn somehow,
You snooze, you lose.
yeah, basically, because they were like walking up when they were opening.
Matt was there for 13 hours.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and
to
so
think.
when I was his age.
I literally I get the last colored one, and then my friend and I went to IHOP, and I bought her breakfast because I was like, "Thanks for calling me."
The International House of Pancakes.
Yeah, International House of Pancakes.
And this was all just so you could play Snippers.
Yeah,
Wow.
Snipper clips.
Snipper clips.
Do you want any games with this? Yeah, I guess I'll take
They
Snipper
actually
clips.
was like, "Oh,
Really?
so do you want Zelda?" And I was like, "No, thank you."
You know they went home
Declining
and talked
Zelda.
about you afterwards. They're like, the wildest thing happened.
And then what's even more hilarious is like literally like 3-4 weeks later, everyone's like hounding me about Zelda. And I was like, fine, I guess I'll get it. It was sold out everywhere. I was sold out. So then I had to wait like a week and a half to pick it up because it wasn't available.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yep. That was my Switch story. Honestly, fond memories, like when I think about it.
Here's the thing, Tiffany.
Yep.
If pre-orders went live and I said, I just pre-ordered it, you're telling me
If I didn't finish-
you would not also pre-order
If I
it?
did not finish Mario or Fire Emblem Engage, I'm not allowed.
Are you going to like start getting on that or like...
You
Is
know,
there progress?
there's been
She's
absolutely
using it as an
there's
excuse.
zero progress.
Nice.
I have been
Wow.
intrigued to start Wonder. Like I have been like, oh, maybe I should boot that up because that game would be a great audiobook game. Like I can see
Oh.
myself like
okay.
throwing on an audiobook and just playing through the levels. You know what I'm saying? Like that really like I can feel it like a hot cup of tea and
Okay.
and an audiobook and Mario.
So you're close. You're on the edge.
Yeah, I'm very close. I'm teeter-tottering. Except today
You're
I
loitering
did just
outside the entrance.
Well, I just downloaded a cozy game, so that's probably not going to help, to be completely honest
Oh.
with you. I can fish and
You
craft.
Bought
Unbelievable.
another game?
I bought another game. I bought another
Isn't that like against your
Yeah.
rule or
Didn't you say you were
something?
going to buy
with
any
my
games too?
gift cards, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I had
That's
gift
right.
card money.
That's right.
No extraneous.
Got
monies.
it. We'll see. Everybody is here as a witness. When pre-orders go
I know,
live,
I'm probably
and
gonna
Tiffany
I'm
and
gonna
I both pre-order
Fold
it.
so hard.
Like a lawn chair.
Yeah, like an origami crane. It's gonna be.
I'm feeling...
And then I'll get to feel the goods without having to spend money.
Oh.
Because you're gonna watch me play Snipper Clips too.
Yeah, Super
We're
Close
probably gonna
too.
play together. I'm be like, Alex gotta
The
play
snippening.
the
It's going to be like Snipper Clips Remastered, and they're going to sell it to you for $60, and you're going to be like, okay.
They're
This is amazing.
3D pieces of paper.
Oh, wow.
God, what if?
Yeah.
Wait, Little Big Planet was never on non-Sony, right? Because that's like a Sony.
Other than
boy.
PC.
Other than
Yeah, I went to PC.
Okay, never mind. I was like, man, what if they came out with a Little Big Planet for Switch?
It would make a lot of sense.
It'd be cool. Yeah. Maybe they try the whole Metopia thing again, and like...
Oh my god! Could
Did
you
you remember that?
imagine
No, thank
if you could street pass? It was called street passing, dude.
Street Pass
I
is fun.
street passed with my 3DS all the time. I loved it.
They need to bring it back for sure.
They really do. Oh my god! Could you imagine carrying?
It just kills your
around-
battery, though,
Improved
I think.
Online network.
You can
That
put
was the
it
problem, right, though?
in a sling bag. You can just put that giant console in a sling bag and just walk around with it.
But didn't it just kill your 3DS's battery? Isn't that why they stopped, I think?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
I mean,
Alright.
I wasn't actively playing it. You know, I would like open
Yeah.
it up every like hour to like go through the people because you could only have 10 people in your queue, and like you know you gotta shuffle through them so that now that your queue's clean, more people can meet you.
Mhm.
That was such a fun thing. Like I used to do that in college, and whenever I went to a convention, it was like I finished like every puzzle. When you would get puzzle pieces to complete pictures,
Mhm.
that was so fun. What a time.
Maybe that's the tentpole Nintendo thing that they're bringing for Super Switch.
it.
Street Pass 2.
Pokemon Go for the
I'm
Super
feeling-
Switch.
I feel like there's going to be 3 pre-orders in this group because I think Mario's happening. I think Tiffany can't resist, and then I think I'll be there. Yasser, I feel like Pokemon's going to be like the year 2
Yeah, probably.
tentpole event.
Yeah.
I just don't see Arceus 2 or something like
That might work
huge
out for me, though, because maybe
Pokemon-wise.
OLED comes out during that time. Fingers crossed.
That could be. That could be. Do you think that there's a chance that they have 2 SKUs
I
at
think they
launch?
do. Yeah, that's exactly what I was
What?
going to say. is I think they're gonna have a LCD for the people who just want the best price, and then the OLED because they already have that in their family line. They want people who currently have OLED to have that option. I feel like that would be a mistake if they didn't do that.
That would be amazing. I would get that OLED. I think I might go over the 400 if it's OLED. I think LCD less than 400 has to be. I would go over 400 for OLED.
So
Yeah, I
450.
think that makes sense. Probably.
Yeah, 450.
420.
That seems reasonable.
Okay, Alex.
Oh gosh. All right. Is that it? Is that our wish list?
Yeah.
Get on it, Nintendo. That's pretty easy. Just like hit all those things, and Yasser's just asking for better internet and better multiplayer. Easy. You can do that.
And better Joy-Cons. I don't want my Joy-Cons drifting because my Mario Joy-Cons have drift.
Rip.
By the time you buy another Joy-Con, maybe Yasser will buy the Super Switch. Who knows?
Big bang boom.
Might be a year, because that's how it happens. All right, everybody. Well, that's our episode, RXP Podcast, where we're telling Nintendo exactly what's in Super Switch, and if they don't do it, we're gonna pitch a fit and complain on internet forums, because that's what we do.
And then pre-order.
If you want to, and then pre-order.
No, we're going to talk with our wallets and not pre-order if they don't have what we want.
If you have any comments or want to tell us what is on your wish list for Super Switch, leave them below. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Grandmaster Doug, thanks for the tunes, and we'll see you next time.
I thought you guys said nipper clips.
Feel the goods. Feel the goods.